You're watching Ramping Up Your English on RVTV Voices. I'm your host, John Letts, and this is segment 3 of episode 57. I have a question for you. What's the fastest land mammal on Earth? I'll give you a hint. It lives in Africa. I'll give you another hint. Don't ever play cards with it. I'll have you guess, and I'll tell you if you're right by the end of the episode. Another hint, it's even faster than a zebra, which can go 42 miles per hour. Now, this might be the ugliest land animal in Africa. This is a warthog. Now, it may not win any beauty contests, but they're part of the ecosystem there, part of the balance that sustains the lives of so many animals and plants. I'm not sure you would travel all the way to Africa to see a warthog, but you may want to go to the Oakland Zoo in California. That's where I saw this one. A warthog can do some amazing things, but it's not the fastest land mammal in the world. That honor goes to the cheetah. Now, you might think with the cheetah, I said it lives in Africa. That makes sense. And I said, don't ever play cards with it. Why not play cards with it? Because it's a cheetah. Cheetahs are way larger than your house cat, yet it's the smallest of the big cats. There's a lot to learn about these speedsters. Let's learn a few things about cheetahs in this video. What's the fastest mammal on Earth? You're looking at it. It's the cheetah. Let's learn about the cheetah's adaptations.
They have lots of fur and flex spots, and that they run fast. They sneak up a few yards away from its prey, and then it runs and catches it, and it makes it trip, so it will be much easier for it to grab it.
Hi, my name is Leslie Navarrete, and I'm going to tell you about the cheetah. It's a big cat.
And what color is a cheetah?
Black and kind of orange.
Okay. And what do cheetahs eat?
Gazelles and game birds.
What kind of habitat does a cheetah need?
I think grass.
How fast does a cheetah run?
Faster than a person?
And what's special about a cheetah?
It has sharpy teeth.
Winston, Oregon is a long way from Africa, which is where cheetahs live. However, at Winston, Oregon, here at Wildlife Safari, they have the second largest breeding population for cheetahs in the world, and the largest outside of Africa. Meet two cheetahs who were born here as part of that program. But as we'll learn, their cases are unique.
Wow. How skinny they are compared to our cats.
Oh, you might be able to hear her purring.
Oh,
They're both purring.
yeah, she just loves people.
So, this is Kayam, the bigger one, and his sister Makumba. These guys are 4.5-year-old adult cheetahs. Kayam's about 100 pounds, and Makumba here is about 80, which is pretty much average for cheetahs. The females are in the 60 to 80 pound range, usually, where the males get closer to 100. They're built exactly like greyhounds, so they always look too skinny, but they're at a really, really healthy body weight for cheetahs. They are built like a running athlete, just for speed, just for running abilities. Everything about them is for running abilities. Their tails are actually really heavy, and they're flat on both sides. They're not round like most tails. And so when they're running at their top speeds, they can whip that tail around to turn really sharply if their prey decides to turn all of a sudden. That's it? You can't handle it anymore? Just like a house cat, they sleep over half their life away, about 15 to 18 hours a day. They have a lot of unique characteristics versus other cats. The purring that I already mentioned. Cheetahs are the largest type of cats that can purr, the second being mountain lions. They can't roar like the lions or tigers. A cat can do one or the other, purr or roar. It's a different bone structure in the throat that gives them the purring ability. So another neat trait of the cheetahs, and if you're ever wondering, am I looking at a leopard or a jaguar or a cheetah? Cheetahs are the only ones with those tear lines going down their face, those black lines. They have adapted to hunting during daylight hours, usually sunset or sunrise when it's cooler out, but that way they avoid the nocturnal nighttime larger predators like lions, hyenas, leopards, wild dogs, because these guys are built for running, not fighting. They have flight response, where like a lion has fight response. If something upsets it or comes around its territory, a lion's going to fight. A cheetah is going to run away from anything. They get over half of their prey stolen from them. Even vultures will chase a cheetah off of its prey item. They're just not going to risk getting injured because then they can't take down the smaller, faster prey items that they're built to take down. Can you want to guess how many spots Macumba has?
560.
Good guess. A little more, about 3,000. We haven't counted Macumba's exact number, but in the 2,000 to 4,000 range. Every cheetah has a different count and a different spot pattern. The neat thing about cheetahs, though, is they are truly spotted animals. So if you were to shave Macumba's fur off, those spots are on her skin in the exact same pattern. You can kind of see the spot hair sticking up slightly more than the other lighter fur, and it's a little thinner too. That is where they release their body heat. So they don't sweat like we do, they don't pant like a dog does. They release their heat through those spots. Okay. So not all cheetahs are friendly like Macumba here. Most cheetahs, like I said, are flight response, kind of flighty, skittish animals. But Kayam and Macumba, we're the largest breeding center, the second largest in the world, the largest in the US. And we have cameras in the den boxes because cheetahs can be so finicky. Even in the wild, they abandon a lot of litters. And cheetahs will not raise one cub, and sometimes not even two. Cub mortality rate is can be up to 90%. So even in the wild, moms will just abandon real small litters. And we figured that was the case when Kayam and Macumba was born, because we could see on camera she wasn't letting them near her stomach, she wasn't nursing them, kind of pushing them to the corner of the hut. So after 2 days of that, we made the call to go in and pull them and start bottle feeding.
Both of these?
Both of these. Yep, and their mom went on the next year to have a litter of 3 and was perfect mom. So we're not really sure if it was just because there was 2 of them, or if it was, they were born in February when the weather was still pretty cold, and sometimes they've even traced changes in the weather to having a cheetah reject or abandon a litter. So at that point, when it was time to hand raise, we decided we wanted to make them ambassadors. So these guys are hand raised, leash trained. We take them to schools. We do educational talks and outreaches all over the states. But that took a lot of preparation time. They are still wild animals, so we're constantly always reading their body language when we're with them. But they're very relaxed right now. You could hear them purring earlier. When they're flocked on the side like that, that means they're completely relaxed.
The cheetah breeding program has been a huge success so far, with over 100 cheetahs raised right here at Wildlife Safari. They'll still need our help in restoring their native habitat, but at least there will be cheetahs to inhabit those areas if that can be achieved in Africa. Meanwhile, these ambassadors enrich our lives here in Oregon. Leela Goulet of Wildlife Safari brings us up to date on the cheetah program. She appeared with Boo the parrot on Adventures in Education.
As you may or may not know, Wildlife Safari is actually the #2 cheetah breeding facility in the world. That's why our logo is the cheetah. We're the #1 in the US, the Northern Hemisphere. And we've produced over 200 cheetah cubs up to now.
200,
Yeah,
wow.
since opening in the 70s. So it's pretty spectacular. You know, we have lots of big open spaces for them. We do a lot of enrichment with our cats. We move them around a lot, so they're always mentally and physically stimulated. So it's just a great space for them to be able to have these cubs, and that's one of the factors that has contributed to their success here.
Now, do some of these animals end up back in Africa?
They do not, no. Unfortunately, because they are raised in captivity, it's really hard to teach them how to hunt, so they wouldn't be able to, but they get transferred to other zoos as well, and we acquire cheetahs from other zoos, and they're part of the species survival program. So they're actually, it's basically a program that will pair certain cheetahs together based on their genetics, because we want to really get them to be as genetically diverse as possible.
So you get a good gene pool there.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
So that's what's happening for cheetahs in southern Oregon. You're watching Ramping Up Your English on RVTV Voices. In this episode, we did the last in one, as we did in the last one, we're learning about African animals, as you can see up here. Now, here's a model of a cheetah, okay? Model of a cheetah right here. And you see the long tail. And here's a warthog over here in front of me. And no doubt it's looking for a mud hole, right? And here's one of the previous episodes animals that we featured, and that's a lion. And there's a giraffe, as you can see, and an elephant. The elephant and the gazelle are both herbivores. They eat plants, and that forms the base of the food chain. Now, the lion and the cheetah are both carnivores. They eat other animals. Yet the personalities of these meat eaters couldn't be more different. Lions are aggressive and bold by nature, while cheetahs are timid and retiring. Cheetahs outrun their prey with their great speed, 60 miles an hour, but they won't fight off other animals for their kill. As we learned in the video, they don't want to risk injury that would slow them down. Now, both are carnivores, very different temperaments. We have more to learn about food chains and food webs, along with other language functions that we'll need to communicate that information. Since this is the end of segment 3, we'll do that in subsequent episodes. Okay, if you're playing with these, but they're probably not going to fight each other. Now, you can get in touch with me and tell me how this program's working out for you in improving your English. Send an email to letscreatepro@gmail.com. Visit my website at letscreate.org for all the support materials for this episode. Just navigate to the episode 57 page. You can watch and even download all episodes of Ramping Up Your English at archive.org/details/RogueTV. Use the search box by entering Ramping Up Your English. You'll find all the episodes there. Ramping Up Your English can be seen in Ashland on Channel 15 on the Ashland Home Network, and in the rest of Southern Oregon on Charter Cable, Channel 182. Showtimes are 8 o'clock a.m. on Mondays, 7:30 p.m. on Thursdays. Showtimes will vary in different areas. Check your local public access and education stations. I want to thank my director, Denise Ross, and my talented and loyal crew, and I want to thank you, our viewers. All of you helped make this program an award winner. Join us next time for Ramping Up Your English. I'm John Letts.
You've been watching Ramping Up Your English, a support program for intermediate level English language learners. Learn more. Visit our website at letscreate.org. You can also watch or download today's program at archive.org/details/RogueTV. Join us next time on RVTV Voices for Ramping Up Your English.